Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain a comedy, fantasy, and mystery film called Palm Springs. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. On November 9, Nyles wakes up and makes love to his girlfriend, Misty, only to be disappointed when she doesn't let him finish. Sadly, Misty doesn't want to sweat since they'll be attending the wedding of her friends, Tala and Abe, and she makes sure Nyles will behave. Nyles then swims in the pool and bonds with Jerry, who's obviously having a good day. Once the ceremony is over, the bride's sister and maid of honor, Sarah, is asked to give a speech. Sarah is drunk and completely unprepared, and upon noticing this, Nyles comes to her rescue. Tala and Abe don't even know who he is, but Nyles still proceeds with his impromptu speech and delivers his lines as if he's talking to Sarah. Afterward, Nyles does everything to make Sarah notice him. Sarah eventually talks to Nyles and introduces herself, also learning the guy's name and that he's Misty's boyfriend. Seconds later, Nana approaches them and compliments Nyles for his speech. Then, Nyles asks Sarah to go somewhere quiet with him, saying he's sure Misty won't mind. As it turns out, Misty is cheating on Nyles, and they watch her fool around with a guy in the bathroom. Moments later, Nyles and Sarah go to a secluded area to make love. However, Nyles gets shot with an arrow in the back, so he flees when he sees the assailant. Unfortunately, Nyles gets hit again, and he tells his attacker, Roy, that he's a sick man. Finally, Nyles manages to hide behind a boulder, but Roy says he'll always find him before entering a cave. Injured, Nyles crawls towards the cave and warns Sarah not to follow him when he sees her, eventually getting sucked into a vortex. Because of that, Nyles wakes up in bed again, aware that everything that happened on November 9 will repeat. But Sarah confronts Nyles while he's in the pool, asking what he did to her. It is then revealed that Sarah followed Nyles into the cave and got sucked into the vortex, and she didn't know how to react in front of her father, Howard, and stepmother, Pia, that morning. As Sarah demands to know what happened, Tala comes out to stop her from making a scene and accidentally trips. Sad to say, Tala loses several teeth and everyone just panics. Abe also shows up to ask if Tala's okay, but the girl refuses to see him. Then, Howard decides to take Tala into town to have a dentist fix her teeth, and his daughter can't thank him enough. At the same time, Sarah suddenly throws up, so she joins Nyles by the pool. With no other choice, Nyles explains that they're stuck in a time loop because they went into the cave. However, he doesn't know how to escape the loop, and when Sarah looks for the cave, she fails to find it. Nyles says she must wait, but it isn't long before an earthquake hits and opens up the cave. Then, Nyles tells Sarah that if she goes in, the whole thing just resets to wherever she woke up that morning. The same thing will happen if she falls asleep, but despite Niles' warnings, Sarah goes inside the cave to restart her day. When Sarah wakes up, she immediately goes to a gas station to have some time alone. Her parents wonder where she is, but Nyles assures them she'll be back. Unfortunately, the ceremony ends without Sarah, who's trying to stay awake as she reaches Texas. There, she stays in her apartment and fights the urge to close her eyes, only to fall asleep in the end. Waking up in Palm Springs, Sarah disturbs the sleeping Nyles and tells him to follow her. Then, in the car, Nyles reveals that he tried killing himself, but the loop just started over. Still, Sarah is determined to escape the loop and suddenly steps on the gas, but when they collide with an oncoming truck, they find themselves back in their beds. Frustrated, Sarah joins Nyles in a bar and tells him she drove all the way back home but still woke up in Palm Springs. Of course, Nyles knows that that's useless, saying the same thing happened to him when he went to Equatorial Guinea. After that, Nyles plays darts with Darla, who doesn't even recognize him. Meanwhile, Sarah asks Nyles about the guy hunting him, so Nyles says the man is Abe's father's cousin, Roy. He adds that Roy was also a guest at the wedding, but Sarah wonders why he's trying to kill Nyles. So, with no other choice, Nyles admits that he once partied with Roy. Back in the early days, before Nyles had acquainted himself with everyone, he had a few drinks with Roy at the bar. The two immediately hit it off, and Roy told Nyles about the bag of sweets in the pocket of the officiant, Trevor. Ignoring everyone, Nyles took the substance from Trevor and shared it with Roy in the bathroom, getting high and having fun. Then, when Roy said he wished he could live out there forever, Nyles showed him the cave and let him go inside. Unfortunately, that was Niles' mistake, for Roy made it his life's mission to hunt him once every few days and make him miserable. Upon hearing Niles' story, Sarah advises him to confront Roy. However, Nyles refuses and just decides to eat a burrito as he tells Sarah he slept with different people while stuck in the loop. Nyles recounts spending time with the barkeep, Daisy, the older lady, Darla, and the other guest, Jerry. He even admits that he tried to score with Tala before asking Sarah about her life, but the girl makes it clear she's not sleeping with him. At the same time, Sarah thinks that an act of selflessness might break the loop, so Nyles asks what selfless act she can think of that will guarantee the day to end, but instead of answering his question, Sarah whispers something in Tala's ear during the wedding ceremony. Then, Sarah walks away before an earthquake hits, leaving everyone frightened. Later on, Nyles asks Sarah what she told Tala, but Sarah refuses to say it. She's confident that she's broken the loop, only to wake up and realize she's failed. Sarah then goes to someone's house with Nyles and swims with him, and they spend the following days doing different stuff to kill boredom. During their adventure, Nyles and Sarah die in a plane crash and perform a dance number in the bar. Sarah also uses her charm on a guy named Randy, making him wear a blindfold and go inside the bathroom. There, Randy startles Misty and her lover, who turns out to be Trevor. Unsatisfied, Nyles and Sarah disrupt the party too, and they draw on each other's backs using a safety pin. One night, Nyles and Sarah decide to camp out. Sarah shares that she was married for 2 years, saying she knew it wouldn't work out from the beginning, but she still went through with it. She then asks Nyles about his life before he got stuck in the time loop, and when the guy thinks about it, he realizes he can't remember. Afterward, Nyles says their mushrooms are fantastic. Then, they see several dinosaurs walking in the distance, but of course, they're only hallucinating. It isn't long before they finally call it a day, and when they go inside the tent, Sarah asks Nyles to sleep with her. When the day restarts, it is revealed that Sarah has been waking up in Abe's room. The guy tells her to go before somebody sees her, leaving her distracted while she's with Nyles. She then notices a cop following them, and when Nyles asks if they can talk about what happened the previous night, she refuses. Sarah drives faster and wonders what the cop will do, getting excited when the officer decides to pull them over. Nyles thinks the cop might be Roy, but Sarah ignores him and gets out of the car. Sarah pretends like Nyles is trying to kill her and asks the officer for help, so the cop orders Nyles to step out of the vehicle with his hands up. Unfortunately, Nyles is right, for the cop turns out to be Roy. Roy then gets ready to shoot Nyles, but Sarah drives the police car and hits him. Despite being saved, Nyles gets mad at Sarah for what she did to Roy. At the same time, a real cop shows up to arrest them, but Sarah only dares him to tase her. Sad to say, Nyles is the one who gets tased, and his eyes bleed as he reminds Sarah that the pain is real. He tries to make Sarah understand that what they do to other people matters, saying he knows it from experience. However, Sarah argues with Nyles and says she did him a favor by dealing with Roy. Still, Nyles doesn't appreciate what Sarah did and points out that she suddenly started acting like a child. Nyles also says her behavior got her stuck in the time loop, infuriating Sarah and making her admit she followed him into the cave because she likes him. Then, Sarah says she regrets sleeping with Nyles, but the guy reveals they've slept together 1,000 times before she got stuck in the loop with him. Feeling bad that Nyles didn't tell her about it, Sarah runs and stands in the middle of the road to get hit by a truck. When Nyles wakes up, he immediately looks for Sarah and asks Pia where her room is. Pia then tells him Sarah wasn't in her room when Howard checked on her, making Nyles panic. Not sure what to do, Nyles restarts the day several times to find Sarah, only to be disappointed in the end. One night, during the party, Abe and his friends take substances in his room while Nyles lies in the bed. Nyles then smells Sarah's hair mist on Abe's pillow and confronts him in front of Tala and the guests, but Abe still tries to deny it. Sadly, Tala realizes Nyles is telling the truth when she smells Abe's pillow and walks out. Also, Nyles finally understands why Sarah is so determined to escape the loop. Eventually, Howard steps in to talk to Abe, but the guy suddenly tackles Nyles to the ground. As they fight, Nyles stabs Abe in the face with a fork, so he is forced to restart the day. Later, Nyles confesses to Jerry that he misses Sarah, adding that he loves her. Jerry is surprised since he didn't know that Sarah and Nyles knew each other, but he still tries to comfort Nyles. The day restarts once more, and Nyles continues to be miserable. He is so lonely that he decides to visit Roy at home, asking the man to hurt him since he doesn't care anymore. Roy immediately takes Nyles inside the house, where he reluctantly introduces him to his wife. After that, the two discuss the time loop, and Roy blames Nyles for losing his chance to see his kids grow up. But Roy has already accepted his new life, and he makes it clear he no longer desires to cause Nyles any pain. As they talk, Roy asks about the woman who hit him with a police car and learns that Nyles took her to the cave. Nyles quickly says Sarah followed him in, so Roy points out that at least he's not alone. Roy also tells Nyles they shouldn't see each other anymore, and for the last time, Nyles asks the old man to kill him. Meanwhile, Sarah confronts Abe after getting hit by the truck and restarting her day. The two express how much they regret sleeping with each other, and as Abe cries, Sarah heads to a diner to study quantum physics and general relativity. No matter how many times the day restarts, Sarah still goes there to find a way to escape the time loop and even goes to the cave to see how long it will take her to get inside. Eventually, Sarah attaches some explosive to a goat and takes the animal to the cave. Then, Sarah blows up the cave, and when the day restarts, she wakes up Nyles. Wasting no time, Sarah explains to Nyles that they are trapped in a box of energy, adding that they must get out of that box in 3.2 seconds it takes to travel through the loop itself. Seeing that Nyles is confused, Sarah clarifies they have to blow up themselves and the cave during that window. At the same time, Sarah says if they detonate the C4 at the exact moment, it will propel them out. Of course, Nyles doubts that Sarah's plan will work, but Sarah tells him they have to try. She also reveals that she's already tested her theory by sending a goat inside the cave before blowing up the place, saying the following day the animal is already gone. Despite that, Nyles still remains skeptical and thinks they shouldn't rush. Nyles admits he doesn't want to leave and tells Sarah he wants to stay with her, confessing that he loves her. Unfortunately, that only makes Sarah think that Nyles has lost his mind and reminds him that everything they're doing there is meaningless. So, Nyles talks about Sarah's life outside the loop and says he knows she slept with Abe, adding that she'll have to deal with that mess if her plan works. Although she's shocked, Sarah is adamant about getting her life back and asks Nyles to come with her. However, Nyles wants to stay in the loop, leaving Sarah with no choice but to say goodbye to him. Afterward, Nyles breaks up with Misty, who can't accept that she's being dumped. Sarah delivers a heartfelt speech during the party, talking about how selfless Tala is. She also tells Abe not to screw things up before hugging her younger sister. Then, Sarah makes a phone call and Nana approaches her moments later. Nana says she knows Sarah will be going soon, wishing the girl good luck before leaving. Sadly, Sarah isn't sure what Nana meant by that. In the bar, Nyles realizes how much he wants to be with Sarah. Then, Nyles pisses the bartender off and gets kicked out of the bar. But as it turns out, Nyles only did that to get the bartender's truck keys. He immediately drives to the cave to catch up with Sarah, who's about to blow herself up, but one of the truck's tires blows out. With no other choice, Nyles runs and asks for help from a guy named Spuds, who doesn't even recognize him. Nyles tells Spuds he's his son, and after hugging each other, they quickly head to the cave. There, Nyles admits to Sarah he was scared before, but adds he'd rather die with her than live in a world without her. After that, they go inside the cave and prepare to blow themselves up. However, Sarah first confesses to Nyles that she loves him, and as they kiss, she finally presses the detonator. When Nyles and Sarah wake up, they find themselves relaxing in some family's pool. Then, a few minutes later, the house owners return, and the two realize it's already November 10. In a mid-credits scene, Roy talks to Nyles during the party and says Sarah called and told him about her plan to escape the time loop. He asks Nyles if he thinks it will work, but the guy doesn't know who he is. Roy gets confused at first, but eventually he realizes that Nyles and Sarah have succeeded.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.